Let me ask you something. If money were a person in your life, what would your relationship look like? Would it feel calm and supportive? Or stressful, distant, maybe a little inconsistent? Welcome back to your Money Mindset Reset. Today is day 5. Before we go any further, I want to check in with you for a second. Did you do the work from yesterday? Because I can't do that part for you. I can guide you, I can give you some tools, but the results come from those actions that you put forth, okay? So you can tell me that you're doing the work. At the end of the day, it's up to you to do it. If you do it or not, don't rush it. This isn't something to just check off a list. You are resetting an entire relationship here with money. And it's important to do the work. Everything we're doing is building on itself. And today is a really important piece of that. Yesterday we talked about self-worth. Today we're looking at how that self-worth shows up in real life. That's your relationship with money, because there's money and then there's your experience of money. And those are not the same thing. You have relationships with people, spouse, family, friends, significant other, whatever. But you also have a relationship with money. And that relationship is shaped by your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences, your beliefs. And for a long time, I didn't think about it this way. Money just felt like something I had to deal with, not something I was in a relationship with. So instead of jumping straight into analyzing your own relationship, I want you to do something a little different today. We're going to look at mine first. Fun! Grab your journal, notes app, whatever it is. This is for day 5. I want you to think about observing my relationship. I don't want you to think about yourself yet in this. Just observe what you see in mine. I want you to look for the patterns that you notice. I want you to think about, is this scarcity or is this abundance? I want you to think about, is there stress or trust? Is there control or flow? Okay? One thing about me, I've always been a big believer in investing in knowledge. And that goes back to college, probably before that, but certainly back to college. I worked my way through school. And when I say worked, I mean I worked a lot because I had to. There was no alternative. There wasn't money set aside for that education. And I didn't actually qualify for financial aid because my dad wouldn't complete the forms. Looking back, I can only assume there was some sort of embarrassment there, but at the time, it just made things harder. And so I worked full-time, sometimes more than full-time. And in the summers, I worked 2 jobs, both of those pretty much full-time. Even after all of that, I still graduated college with debt. And that experience shaped how I see money to this day. It taught me that knowledge, growth, and learning, it was something worth investing in, even when it was hard, even when it cost me something. And that education cost me a lot. And then there are other ways this shows up for me. For example, I've made very intentional decisions in my life to almost always have a fairly new car. Not because I need something flashy, but because reliability really deeply matters to me. The work I do, the responsibilities that I have, I don't want to be worrying about whether my car is going to start or it's going to land itself in the shop for days to weeks on end. So for me, the payment isn't stress, it's peace of mind. And someone else from the outside might look at that and think, I would never spend money that way. Or they'll think that it's irresponsible. And I know all of the stories about how a car devalues as soon as it drives off the lot. I know all of those things. But for me, this still feels aligned because it's a value and a priority that I have for reasons other than the value of the car. It tells you that this is not about how much money there is. It's about how I relate to it. And then there are times where money isn't the only thing of value that we can give. Time matters too. And for me, that showed up in, for me at least, what was a really meaningful way when I was homeschooling my kids. We made it a point to volunteer every week, without fail, every week. For several years, we volunteered at an animal shelter. And yes, we supported them financially when we could. But more importantly, we showed up. We cleaned cages. We took care of the animals. We fed them. We helped with medications. We did the dirty kind of grunt work. And then after everything was done, we'd spend time just being with the animals. And then I would usually take the kids out to lunch afterwards. It was just kind of a little reward for a job well done. And that might not look like a money decision on the surface, but it is, because it reflects how I see value, and it reflects what matters to me and how I choose to use both my time and my money. If you're listening to my stories today, tell me what you notice. Does my relationship with money feel more like trust or tension to you? You can drop that below. Sometimes it's easier to see it in someone else first. So when you look at all of that, what do you notice? Because here's the point of the exercise. Your relationship with money isn't about one thing. It shows up differently depending on the situation. So for today, I want you to write this down, wherever you're writing it. What patterns did I notice in her, being my, relationship with money? Where did I see trust? Where did I see hesitation? And where did I see intention? Because tomorrow, we're going to map out your relationship with money the same way we just mapped mine. And the goal here isn't judgment, it's awareness. Remember, you have more control than you think. You've got this. I'll see you tomorrow for day 6, where we turn that spotlight back on what money actually brings up in your body. It's kind of like we'll Google map your brain, but without that weird little car driving around. See you then.